All right, hello everybody. KVUE Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with our nightly extended update on the forecast here on KVUE Plus and YouTube Live and all of our streaming platforms. Tonight, the main thing we want to talk about, of course, is the Easter weekend forecast. Our weather turning a little bit more active, but we want to be clear, it will not be a washout for the Easter weekend. There's going to be a lot of dry time. However, I think the main window we'll need to watch is going to be Saturday night into early Easter morning. Some rain and storms will be possible, but then most of the actual day on Easter is going to be dry. But it's not just this weekend. I think next week we'll likely get into some additional rain chances around the middle of next week. So let's start with the important part. This is the Easter forecast, at least my main thoughts on it right now. So it's a 60% chance for rain and storms Saturday night into Easter morning, especially across the hill country. We'll keep an eye out for some strong to severe storms, wind, hail, the main two threats. But the timing is important here. I think by 9 or 10 a.m., the vast majority of the rain is over for our KVUE area. So as far as like early Easter plans in the morning, maybe have a backup plan indoors. And then keep in mind too, like with Easter egg hunts and stuff, maybe the ground still could be a little bit damp. So just kind of think through that. It's the morning where there could be some wet weather, but then late morning, afternoon, I think we're going to be all good. So again, it is not a washout. You're going to look maybe at your phone app or look at the 7-day forecast. You see that 60%. Rain and storms are likely. It's just not all day. It's in the morning. In fact, here's the timing. These are just kind of generalized time frames here, but I think gives you a good idea of when the rain could start and when it could end for Sunday morning. So first across the hill country, as early as about 11 o'clock Saturday evening, there could be some storms moving in, but by about 5 a.m., rain's done in the hill country, all good. Then for the Austin Metro and the I-35 corridor, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., so by 8 a.m. or so, rain's moving out. Then for our far eastern areas, and especially in these zones, the rain's going to be more spotty. I think this could be weakening as it goes west to east. So some of these areas especially might not really get much rain at all, but I think by 9 or 10 a.m., rain is out, and the rest of our Easter Sunday, it'll actually be a little bit cooler, so maybe this could work out well where we get a little bit more of a comfortable feel for the afternoon on Easter Sunday. Here's a live view outside from our tower cam as we record this just after 7 o'clock on this Thursday evening. High temperatures today, we got close to the 90s again. 89 was the high for Mayberry, 89 at the airport. Normal's 81. The record today was 99, so we're getting into that time of the year where these records are up close to 100. Here's my forecast for tonight. It's been breezy today. It's still going to be breezy tonight. In fact, some areas it might actually get a little bit windier. South-southeast breeze 5 to 15, gust to 30. It will be a mostly cloudy sky. That wind's going to likely prevent any fog from forming. 70 for the overnight low in Austin, mid to upper 60s for the cooler pockets outside of the city. Here's my forecast for tomorrow. It's another day with a mix of clouds and sunshine, probably more so clouds, but there could be some stretches where you get a decent amount of sunshine, and that will help propel our afternoon highs into the upper 80s and low 90s. For your Friday, here's a closer look at the I-35 corridor, and again, still windy. You can see how fast those arrows are going. 90 for Del Valley, Pflugerville 89, Round Rock 89 tomorrow. We'll say 89 in Wimberley, Dripping Springs, Lakeway, also in the upper 80s. So that brings us into the Easter weekend. 90, mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow. For the hill country, the first opportunity for rain and storms is actually going to be Friday night into early Saturday. I'll show you the model data on that. I think it's about a 20 to 30% chance it won't rain in Austin Friday night, okay? So want to be clear, but across the hill country, there could be some rumbles of thunder. Through the day on Saturday, pop-up storms will be possible for the afternoon into the evening. Not everybody sees them, but a 30% coverage. And then a more widespread 60% for Saturday night into the beginning of Easter Sunday, then trending drier for the second half of the day. You can see temperature-wise, I think we're probably going to be in the 80s both Saturday and Sunday. All right, so we've hit all the high points. Let's go into the models. Let's try and time this out. This is the latest run of our graph model. I don't think it's perfect, but we'll kind of explain as we go through this. So here we go into Friday night. This is midnight, Friday night into Saturday. Our first round of storms could be moving into the hill country. Now, what this model is showing is pretty widespread coverage of rain and storms. Honestly, I'd be all right with that. We need some rain in these areas, but I think this is probably overdone. Again, in Austin, East I-35, there's not going to be rain Friday night, but for these areas, Burnett, into Llano, into Mason, into Gillespie, into Blanco counties, it's possible there could be some rain and storms. Probably not as much as what this model is showing, but about a 20 to 30% chance. We keep going into Saturday morning. If we get some rain over the hill country, there could be some leftover activity over Llano, Mason, Gillespie County. Most of the first part of Saturday looks dry, especially for our eastern areas. But as we go into 4 or 5 o'clock, at that point, some scattered showers and storms could start to develop. Now, there's about a 30% coverage through the day on Saturday. This model says that 30% coverage happens to be over the I-35 corridor in the Austin Metro. That is not a guarantee, but if you have outdoor plans Saturday afternoon, if it was me, I wouldn't cancel it, but just keep an eye to the sky, and obviously you can get the KVUE app downloaded. You can watch the radar and get all the live updates and everything. So just have a backup plan indoors for Saturday afternoon. Now we go Saturday night. Here is midnight. Could have some severe storms, strong to severe, developing over parts of the hill country, and then a more widespread line is likely going to move in late overnight into early Sunday. So here's 4 a.m., a line of rain and storms coming into the hill country. So with both rounds of rain, Friday night, then again Saturday night, the hill country is going to be favored. But so we'll watch this 4 a.m. Here is 6 a.m. Could have some heavy rain and storms, Blanco, 281 corridor, Johnson City, up towards Laga Vista, into Burnett. And then the idea is that this activity is weakening as it goes west to east. So I don't think that these, we'll see how it goes. But I think the odds of severe weather in the I-35 corridor and the Austin Metro much lower than in the hill country when these storms will first be moving in. So truthfully, this looks pretty tame. A little bit of damp weather, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but maybe nothing too crazy. Around 7, 8 a.m. But here's 9. And at that point, again, for our eastern areas, rain may kind of fizzle altogether before it gets here. So it's a 60% rain chance. I'm not saying 100% of everybody is going to see heavy rain. By 9 a.m., we're pretty much done. Let's keep going into 1 o'clock. This front's going to be coming through. We'll keep an eye on that and make sure that doesn't try to generate some more showers or a storm. But I think we're going to be mainly dry as we get into the second half of Easter Sunday. So especially for the afternoon, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape with our outdoor plans. It's the morning I want you to be aware of. Here's our Friday night storm outlook. Level 1 risk clips Mason County. Maybe I could see them expanding this a little farther eastward, but it's just going to be the hill country that we'll watch for Friday night. This will be the main time frame to keep an eye on. Saturday into Saturday night, level 2 risk in the hill country, slight risk. Level 1, lower severe threat in the Austin Metro and the I-35 corridor. Hail, strong winds, maybe a little bit of locally heavy rain. In fact, I do want to show you that real quick. I forgot to queue up this graphic. I'll show you our excessive rain outlook. And you'll see we've got a low-end risk. This is our day 3 flood outlook. It's a level 1 flood risk, 1 out of 4 flood risk through the day on Saturday. So I don't think it's going to be a huge problem, but there could be maybe a flood advisory or 2. Speaking of 7-day rainfall totals, we need the rain. We are appreciative for the rain. We just don't necessarily love that it interferes with some of our Easter weekend plans. Generally speaking, over the course of the next 7 days, and this won't all fall this weekend, so especially the hill country will get a good bit of rain Saturday night into Sunday, but then more rain chances come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. So these are 7-day totals ranging anywhere from a ½ inch to 1 inch for our eastern and southeastern areas to as much as, say, 1 to 2 inches or even a little bit more over northern sections of the hill country. That's the forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. Here are the model totals. You can see there's a pretty big range. Both of our models agree that the hill country stands to get the most rain here. GFS model says ½ inch or so of rain, lower totals east. European model, much more aggressive, especially in the hill country, showing some, say, 3 to 4 inch type totals. Again, I think that's probably a little bit aggressive, but both our models signaling that generally this is a more active, a wetter forecast pattern we're about to get into starting this weekend. For tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and still windy, kind of like last night, still gusting 25 to 30. We'll drop down to about 70 in Austin. Then for tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun. I'd say more so clouds, but some decent stretches of sunshine. Warmer than today by a degree or 2, 90 in the forecast, still windy with wind gusts up to about 30 or 35 miles per hour. Here's the 7-day forecast. So you can see this active pattern starts over the weekend and it continues as we get into next week. A 20% chance for storms Friday night. Then Saturday during the day, a 30%. 60% Saturday night into early Sunday, but then most of the day on Easter looks primarily dry. Then on Monday, we get a little bit of a break. Humidity will be a little bit lower, 86. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, we've got another upper level storm coming in, and that will start to generate rain chances again. So a 30% Tuesday, a 40% for Wednesday and Thursday. And with rain back in the forecast, that's going to keep us a little bit cooler than where we've been the past couple of weeks with highs generally across the board in the 80s. So That is what we were tracking for you. Not raining all Easter weekend long, but we do have a couple windows for storms. Main severe threat's going to be Saturday night into very early Sunday. So especially in the hill country, just make sure you're kind of keeping tabs on this. We'll keep the updates coming here at KVUE. And otherwise, I think we have everything all covered. So we're coming up on 7:10. We're going to take a break for about 3 hours. Then the next update is going to be our newscast tonight at 10 o'clock. So if you want more weather information, we will see you then. In the meantime, y'all have a good Thursday night, and we will talk to you later.